So look, here's the thing. Right now, money is tight, right? We might be headed directly into a recession. So makeup is not a need. Makeup is a want. Makeup is something that makes you feel good. And we all deserve to feel good, right? We deserve to feel our best selves. But I recently saw a video on my friend Tom's page, and Tom goes by Hope Mess Tom here on YouTube. And what they did is they named the video something along the lines of finding dupes in my collection. And they split their face in half and they did one side, with one kind of makeup and one side with another kind of makeup, just to show how similar they could be. And the way Tom was looking at it was by saying this product versus this product and which one might be better. But I'm taking that same concept. By the way, I'm going to list Tom's channel down below. If you're not following them, you absolutely want to. Fantastic channel. But I want to take that kind of concept and put a little bit of a spin on it. Hey y'all, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, what I'm going to be doing is looking for dupes in my own collection. And my purpose for this is to show all of you that if there is some makeup out there that you want, you probably have something similar in your collection. And the way that I wanted to look at this is I'm looking at every single product. Okay, wait. Almost every single product, we will get to that, but every single product needed to create a full face. And I wanted to see if I had two products that were similar enough in my collection to be almost dupes. Now, these aren't like low price versus high price. This is not high end versus drugstore. This is literally just for me to see if in my own collection, which I keep fairly curated, do I have two products that perform the same exact function? I fall into the trap too, y'all, where I see new makeup and I'm like, oh, that's shiny. I want that. And I want to prove to myself, that my collection is pretty well-rounded. Does this mean I'm never buying makeup again? No, it doesn't mean that. Makeup brings me joy, and if it brings you joy, that's great too. But we're all trying to save money right now. Let's be realistic. So like I said, though, there are two products where I do not have a dupe for, if you will, because I don't have that many in my collection. One of them is eyebrows, so I did put that on already today, and I think I put it away already, but it's the Kosas Airbrow, and the other one is concealer because I have two concealers that I like, but they are drastically different from each other, so I don't feel like it's great. You know what? I'm still going to compare them. Hold tight. I went and got the other concealer because I kept thinking that they were so drastically different, but they're kind of not. So anyway, we are going to do a full look split down the middle. I'm going to match it as closely as I can. Some of these are not exact dupes, but they are close enough where if you just only have enough money to purchase one or you want to look in your collection for the same thing, you probably have it. Also, this pimple's coming in real loud and proud right now. Okay. So the first thing I want to start with is face primer, and I am going to use two different gripping primers. Now, gripping primers seem to be like really coming up on the market, and all sorts of different brands are making similar ones. So the first one I'm going to use is my classic, my OG, my Melt Hydro Grip Primer, and I'll use that on this side. I have no like particular reason why one is on this side, one is on that. I'm going to try to keep them separate on the table in case I need to talk about them afterwards, but that'll go on this side. And then for this side, I have the e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer. So both of these are matte primers. They are not glowy, but these will help products to really stick to it. And I do apply these with my hands. So I'm going to take a very little bit. This is first the Milk Makeup. And I have a tendency in my videos to switch up saying milk and melt. And I need to stop that. Also, I love how in a recent video, someone called me out and said, you cheated because you didn't put makeup on your forehead this time. Y'all, I never put makeup on my forehead. I might put makeup here, but I have bangs. Like, why would I put makeup there? I just don't get it. So this primer, if you're not familiar with it, is definitely, you can see it is like a sticky, grippy primer. The stickiness does go down after a little bit, but it really helps your foundation to stick. It doesn't, for me, do any kind of blurring or anything like that. Then we have the e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer. Looks very similar. It has like a silicone vibe to it. And I do feel like this one is definitely less grippy than the Milk Makeup one, but is still very good and does have that grippiness to it. So I put it on in all the spots. I tap it in. I kind of press it in. Now again, like, yeah, you know what? When they settle down, they feel pretty much the same. Again, though, I don't really notice a difference between these two, right? I mean, I don't think that you can even tell that they have a primer on or anything like that because it's not like a certain kind of primer. It's not tinted, it's not glowy, and it just does what it needs to do. This one is staying tackier longer, the e.l.f. one actually. I'm still pressing it in, whereas the Milk Makeup one has pretty much lost a lot of its like tackiness. So I'm gonna let this sit a minute longer. While this is settling, actually, I'm going to go in with a glowy base next. So sometimes I like to go in with a glowy base before my tinted moisturizer. I usually use tinted moisturizer and not foundation. So I have two here. On this side, I'm going to be using the Auric Glow Lust, which admittedly is my favorite for a glowy base. The color I have, I believe, is selenite. Yeah, it's selenite, and I just love this. And on the other side, we have a very old bottle of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and these both perform a similar function. They are not dupes for each other per se, formula-wise, and I'll show you why. This one I feel like is almost more of it's borderline tinted moisturizer, okay? It's borderline, whereas this one feels more like a base. Again, this is something I do like to apply with my fingers, so I'm just going to use a very little bit of each one. This pump is, oh no, it's getting weird on me. But I'm going to start off small. I can always build up, but this is just intended to give the skin a bit of a glow under your foundation, your tinted moisturizer, whatever you're using. I just smooth this in. There are a lot of days where I will just wear one of these instead of a foundation or tinted moisturizer. I love a glowy, radiant base. So you can probably see this side now is looking much glowier. This is a very, very, very light coverage. Even though these are tinted, it's very, very light coverage. You can still see my freckles through. You can see any imperfections. Now with the Charlotte Tilbury one, I do feel like this formula is a bit thicker, like you can see, but once it is smoothed out, I still feel like this is a base and not necessarily a tinted moisturizer. You'll still see the glow, but it's not going to give me that much coverage. So here it is with the glowy base, and you can see I am glowing, glowing, glowing. And I feel like right now it looks exactly the same on both sides. I know it's only two products, but I feel like it's looking exactly the same. It feels the same. This side, I was going to say it might be a little tackier, but this is the side that I applied most recently, so it needs time to settle in. But right now, I feel like my skin is looking absolutely beautiful with these different products. I mean it when I say that this is kind of a fascinating experiment for me because, again, like, you know, I will see certain products, like I'm always attracted to a glowy face, right? So I will see a glowy tinted moisturizer. I'm like, I've got to have it. It's like, how many glowy tinted moisturizers does someone need? The limit does not exist, but we're going to try to make a limit exist today. So for my tinted moisturizer, again, I'm going with something with a more glowy finish. On this side, the Smashbox Halo, my color is light neutral. I really love this. And on this side, we have the Say Slip Tint in 3.5. So I really love both of these. I do think that the Say is going to show up with lighter coverage and more glow, but these are quite similar enough that I feel like I can make them work. So let me put this on the face to start. Again, I always like to start small. I'm going to let it warm up to my face. But this is the color of the Smashbox Halo and the consistency. And here we have the Say Slip Tint. These are both so lovely. This even looks like it might be a little deeper, but I think the coverage is going to be more sheer. And let me start blending those out. I'm probably going to wind up adding extra product. All right, here's the side with the Smashbox Halo. Again, I love that you can still see my freckles through it. That's something that's like really important to me. It took me a very long time to love and accept my freckles. So now that I love and accept them, I want them on the display for the world to see. But I did not put any directly under my eyes. I don't like to layer a foundation and then put concealer on top of that. So I just think this coverage is beautiful and glowing, but doesn't look oily to me. I am going to right away add like a little more of the Say Slip Tint. I'm going to use the same brush. I just wiped off all the excess from this foundation, but I want to keep this as consistent as possible, but this is the Say Slip Tint. So I think I was correct in that this side is definitely dewier than this side. So the Halo Glow, I feel like you can see a definite glow, but I feel like this side is much more glowy overall, especially in areas like this. There are times where the Say Slip Tint can even be a little too glowy for me, but I love the way it feels on the skin. I feel like it does look very nice and healthy, but it is definitely more glowy in certain areas. And I am going to be using a powder today, but I wanted you to see both. So we've got Smashbox Halo and Say Slip Tint, where I think that if I were to go out on the street like this, you would not be able to tell the difference. It's just because I'm pointing out the differences so dramatically that we can see it, but I think that they are similar enough. So I said I was originally only going to use one concealer, and that is my Sigma Color Correcting Duo, but then I remembered that I have my absolute beloved Salt New York Best Case Concealer. So The coloring is probably going to be different, but both of these are very creamy, buildable concealers that do not crease under my eyes. And I'm quite excited. So let's start with Best Case Concealer. I'm dabbing back and forth between these two colors, and I believe I have N11 and N12, and I start very small and very light. I do think that this is going to be more yellow toned than the Sigma concealer, but I'm going to just pat this out with my finger just to keep that nice and warm so it doesn't settle as quickly into creases. But this is such a pretty, and this concealer I would say is more buildable than the other one. The other one stays fairly sheer, but this is so beautiful. So I'm going to wipe off the excess, and with the Sigma Duo I go back and forth. I admittedly have been going a little bit more into this one because it's a little bit deeper. I hope the color change isn't too drastic here. And same, I'm just pressing that in and then dabbing this out with my finger just to warm it up. I feel like both sides look equally as lovely. Like, I am very, 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 very picky about concealers. I'm not somebody who has 15 concealers. I have 2, okay? I have 2. I love the way my under eyes look right now. But before anything happens, I want to keep them from creasing, so I'm going to go in with a loose powder. Now, I do not use a ton of powder when I do powder, so I'm going to use loose today. The first side is going to be the Melt She's Alive powder. Really love this. So I want to show you, though, that these will look a little bit different. And the second one is the Sigma Soft Focus Setting Powder in Vanilla Bean. So the reason I say they're going to look different, I definitely took too much. You can hopefully see that the Melt powder has a light pink tinge, and the Sigma powder, I took so much of it, has a more of a yellow tinge, like a yellow neutral. But I am going to take my brush, and first I'm going to do the Melt powder, and I do a very little bit, and I'm just going to apply this under the eyes and any place where my foundation might move. So again, we've definitely kept the glow, but I've set any areas that might move around. You can definitely see that this side is a little more matte than this side now. So going into the Sigma powder with the same exact brush. And you know what? Even though this side was significantly more dewy before applying powder, I used the same exact amount of powder on both sides, and I think we're completely even now. I think the complexion is looking absolutely lovely. Guys, this is, I kind of knew that this was going to be eye-opening, but like so far, it's just interesting to see how many products you have in your collection that can do the same thing. Like if I were to lose half of my makeup, you know, I wouldn't want to, but if I did, I would be fine because I have something else that's similar enough. So anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going with the face. For blush, I want to do a cream blush and then a powder like topper on top of it. These two cream blushes are slightly different in tone, but they are close enough. So on this side, I'm going to do the Melt Cream Blush Light in Lynx. This has brown undertones. This one is definitely a bit more gold than the other side, which is the Merit Terracotta Cheek Color. And this one is more brown pink, but when I swatched them out, I did feel like they were close enough where we'll be okay. So I'm starting by applying this high up on the cheeks. And it's so funny because with cream blushes, I'm always like, oh my God, a little bit goes such a long way. And then I almost always wind up adding more at the end of the look. But you can tell this is probably one of my favorite blushes of all time, if I'm being fair, the Cream Blush Light in Lynx, because it's this beautiful gold, copper, brown, like, oh, just stunningness. I took the excess off and now I'm going in with the Merit Flush Balm. I actually don't know if they have this color anymore in terracotta. I think they might have discontinued this color, but it's such a shame because it really is beautiful. Now this color, this one definitely has a very strong luminosity, whereas this one doesn't have as much. I feel like you can definitely see the color difference, but I don't think it's drastic enough where like I'm going to be chased down the street with like pitchforks and people carrying like sticks on fire. I do think that they're both really, really pretty though. And I think that they're, again, close enough where you can tell I'm still getting that warmth. Next, I want to go in with a powder blush topper. I'm not really calling it a powder blush because I'm not going to have it very intense. I'm going to be using kind of a flimsier brush to just gently apply it. So on this side, I am using the Nabla Skin Glazing in Truth. They call this more of a finishing glow. Oh, I'm sorry, a glass skin finish glow powder, but it has like this peachy pink vibe to it. And then on this side, I'm going in with the Rare Beauty blush in Hope, the luminizing blush. These are slightly different, but I am taking the tiniest amount, like such a small amount. I want this to be a whisper of color. And I'm going to swirl this right on top. You can definitely see this glow building, but I don't think it looks too extreme. I think it just looks like a nice glowy cheek, which is so pretty. Ah! And then on this side, I just cleaned off my brush. I'm going into the Rare Beauty blush, tapping off like almost all of the excess. And there we have it on both sides. We have a nice flushed, oh, I just cheated and put the brush on both sides of my face. Oh, but we've got a rosy flush on both cheeks, and I think it just looks so pretty and basically exactly the same. All right, let's do a highlighter. So for both of these, I wanted to go with something that is an old standby for me, which is just a beautiful gold highlighter. These two look quite different in the pan to me. You can see it there. This is the Becca Champagne Pop, which definitely has like a peachy undertone. And this is the Sigma in Savannah, which is very gold. But for some reason, like once they were swatched out, I feel like they looked similar enough. So I'm going to, again, I'm doing such a little bit because I am very glowy right now. But this is the side with the Sigma Savannah. Very pretty. These Sigma ones are so finely milled that I feel like they just look very natural, like, and glowing. And then I'm going into my Champagne Pop. This was one of the first highlighters I can remember going like truly viral. And I still absolutely love it, which is why like it is hard panned at this point. Not hard pan, but I mean like I have hit pan and I still keep using it. I just feel like this is my dream skin right now, and I got it from two completely different products, different brands, different everything. All right, time for the eyes. Let's prime first, and I'm going to be using two liquidy cream primers as opposed to I have some that are like pencils or putty primers, but on this side I want to use the Kaleidos Tone Activator, and on this side, good old classic Urban Decay Primer Potion. I'm curious how different these are going to perform because, to be honest, the Kaleidos, which I'm applying now, I feel like it blanks the lid out more than the Urban Decay one for sure. I feel like they have a similar consistency, but you see how like you can't see any discoloration at all now on the side with Kaleidos. Let's see if the Urban Decay one does the same thing. Yeah, I feel like the Urban Decay one actually is definitely more slippery. And it does remove some discoloration, but I feel like you can tell a difference that the Kaleidos one really gives you that blank slate. I do prefer the Kaleidos at this point over Urban Decay, but they are both still very good, very easy to work with eye primers. All right, eyeshadow palette. So this is one that it's not that I struggled with this, but I don't believe that unless there is a company that is making direct dupes of eyeshadow palettes, I firmly believe that there are no eyeshadow palettes that are dupe for others. You know what I mean? Like there are companies like Alter Ego that create dupes for palettes. Like let's say it's like the Natasha Denona Glam palette. They have the exact same colors in the exact same order, and it's supposed to be an exact dupe for cheaper than the Natasha Denona one, right? But other than that, I don't believe that there are any brands out there that are intentionally like, we are going to copy that. So I worked hard to try to find two palettes that at least are giving similar vibes and have similar enough colors where the look would look similar on both eyes. And here's what I came up with. The very first one on this side, I'm going to use the Natasha Denona Bronze Palette. This has all neutrals, obviously, but varying shades of bronze, brown. This is a generally warm tone palette, save for one color in the corner that I never quite understood, but it's a generally warm toned, beautiful palette. And then on this side, I am going to use the Melt Cosmetics Rust Palette. So I just thought, this is one of my favorite palettes they have. I love the warm browns in here, but I think you can tell that I will be able to get a similar look with both of these. Are these dupes? I would never consider these to be dupes of one another. Are there some similar colors? Absolutely. There are only so many colors in the color wheel that you can choose. If you come up with a brand new color that has never existed, kudos to you, my friend. You are a very special animal. All right, I'm going to start with my crease, and the colors I'm going to use, on this side I'm going to use Sundown. Let me see if I can also kind of swatch these. I'm going to use Sundown, and then on the other side I'm going to use Antique. These are slightly different colors, but they are both a matte, warm, almost peachy leaning color. Now, if you're looking for it, I think you can tell this color has a bit more depth to it, whereas this color is a little more like lighter and peachy. But guys, they're pretty much the same color. So this next one that I want to do, I have a feeling these might wind up being a little different, but we're going to try it. So I want to go in with Suntan, which again, I will swatch here, which is a medium toned warm brown. And on this side, I think it's going to be much deeper. Okay, those are two quite different brown colors. Let me see something else. Nope, that color is different. So this might be a case where they're going to start to look a little bit different, but I'm going to use Suntan here. And then on this color, I'm going to use Rust, which is the closest to a medium toned warm brown. I think I'm just going to go in with a much lighter hand with Rust to see if we can look similar with these. And I'm going to take this. This is going to go on the outer corner and into the crease. With this side, I'm going to try to actually pack it on more, and then I'll try to be more gentle on the other side. These colors are definitely a bit different, but I mean, honestly, that's fine. We're just kind of trying to get as close as we can to make a point. I'm also going to take each of those colors under the eyes a little bit, just about halfway. Right now, I think it's looking like close enough. I think you can tell the difference again if you're looking really hard, but come on. This next one is going to be a little bit hard because there's not two exact shades in here, but for this side, I'm going to be using Magma, which is the deepest shade other than black in the palette, but this is a very warm, rich red brown, and on this side, we're going to be using... I was going to be using Mar, but Mar, which is right here, is very cool toned. I think I might go back in with Rust and just pack it on more. So the same color that I blended lightly here, I'm going to just really pack it on and see if that works. But first we're going to start with Magma. This is going to go packed on the very outer V just to create a little bit of extra depth. And then I'm really packing Rust on to see if it makes a difference. I think you can see a little bit more depth there, right? I think that is accomplishing the same task. So now it's time to go in with a shimmer. Now these shimmers are slightly different, but on this side, I'm going to go in with Palladium, which is probably not the kind of color I want now that I'm looking at it. So this is Palladium. It is a bronzed gold with a hint of red, but I was hoping that it would be the same as Redux, which it is not. Redux is a dark bronzy brown. Do we have any similarities in here? So guys, guess what? I have no similar shimmers between these palettes. So the Rust palette only has 3 shimmers. There is a very deep cool tone brown. There is Redux, which is very red and bronze. And then there is Tarnish, which is almost, this sounds weird to say, a cool tone gold. Whereas this, we have a lot more shimmers, but we've got like these are very, very warm toned shimmers. And we don't really have any warm toned shimmers in the Rust palette. So this is going to be one spot where I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to take one of these shimmers. I'm going to take Silk, which is right here. And I'm going to put this shimmer on both eyes. It'll just be in, you know, this area right here. So this will be the same, but the rest of the shadows will be different from one another. I have to say, I don't understand why. I believe the bronze palette is no longer being made, and I don't understand why. These colors were so beautiful. Look at that, no glitter glue, and it's just perfect. So yeah, even though we cheated a little bit at the end, I do feel like the rest of the look is similar enough where you can tell the point I'm trying to make. Now, as I like to do, I want to line the waterline in black, the upper and lower water, or the tight line and waterline. So on this side, I'm going to use, actually, let's stick Melt to this side. This is the Melt Black Onyx Slick Waterline Eye Pencil. And I'm just going to do this side first. Ow! Oh, I definitely had to just get up and sharpen this because it was dull and I poked myself so bad. Now, the reason I love this eye pencil so much is because it just goes on easily. Like, you don't have to worry about it. It's just easy in the waterline. And that's also the reason why I like what I'm going to use on this side, which is the Milk Infinity Longwear Eyeliner in Outer Space. This is a roll-up and not a pencil, but it does the same thing. Now, I will say I prefer the Milk Melt Cosmetics one because I do feel like it goes on blacker and like smoother. but they're both fantastic for waterline pencils and they stay on me all day. Now, before we get to lips, I want to do some mascara, but here's the thing. All of my mascaras are very different. I don't have many open. I have a tubing, I have a super lengthening waterproof, I have a red mascara, I have a bronze mascara, and they're all so different from each other, so I can't use two different ones for this, so I'm just going to use the Finding Ferdinand Lash Lift. This is a beautiful tubing mascara that gives a lot of length, but also like makes your lashes super dark. And finally for lips, I'm going to do a combo of a brown lip liner with a gold lip gloss. So on this side, I'm going to use the Melt Cosmetics lip liner in Cinnamon. For both of these, I'm going to line and fill in. You can also see I overline just a touch. This is my favorite lip liner, period. But right behind that is the Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics Trick Lip Liner. I just used this in a recent video and I'm determined to use this up because it is so expired. Now, I feel like when they're right next to each other, you can definitely tell that the Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics one is a touch more cool toned and a touch lighter, but they're still beautiful and similar. So on this side, I'm going to use the Sigma Lip Gloss in Brilliance. Again, a sheer base with a gold gloss. Absolutely beautiful. And then on this side, the Finding Ferdinand Limoncello, right? Or Summer Abroad Limoncello gloss. One of my favorite glosses that is discontinued. All right, I feel like the lips are where you can tell the biggest difference. So, but it's close enough. It's close enough. So that's it. That is my full face of essentially dupes in my collection, just to show you and to show myself that if you want something, you probably have something similar enough in your collection that will scratch that itch. If you don't, like I'm somebody who, one of my low-buy rules was I will let myself purchase something if it is so unique to my collection. And that's something that I kind of encourage everyone to think about. Like, is this unique to my collection? Is it replacing a product I've run out of? Just so you can be more mindful of the purchases you're making. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I love this look. This is such just like a classic Linda look for me, and I just feel so good in it. And honestly, I can't tell the difference at this point anymore, and I'm looking directly like into the mirror and I can't see the difference. Other than the lips, which are like slightly different tones, it's the same. So I do hope that you enjoyed this. All of these products are going to be linked down below in case they are filling a need in your collection and you are interested. But that's it. If you enjoyed this video, I'm going to leave another one up here for you on the screen that I think you might also like. I'm also going to link Tom's channel down below so you can check them out. But if you like this video, please take a second, give it a thumbs up. It means so much to me. It helps out my channel so much. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are all Glitter Fallout. And as always and forever, you are super freaking rock stars. Don't know why I'm singing today. I love you so much with my whole heart. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.